There's something magical about dreams. They blur the lines between reality and imagination, giving us glimpses of thoughts and emotions we might not even be fully aware of. Throughout history, dreams have been seen as messages from the subconscious, guiding us, warning us, or sometimes just reminding us of what truly matters. When it comes to attraction and emotional connection, dreams hold a unique power. Imagine telling a woman, "It's funny, I had a dream about you last night," and watching her expression shift from curiosity to intrigue. Suddenly she's wondering, what was the dream about? Why was I in it? Even the simplest dream can spark fascination because it suggests that she occupies a space in your mind, even when you're not awake. But it's not just about mentioning a dream, it's about how you use it to create a deeper connection. A dream can act as an emotional anchor, making someone feel special and significant in a way that words often fail to do. The key is to introduce the idea naturally, keeping it light and playful while allowing her imagination to fill in the gaps. This isn't about manipulation, it's about tapping into a deeper form of connection, one that feels organic and genuine. Because when done right, mentioning a dream isn't just a passing remark, it's a way to plant a seed of thought, one that lingers long after the conversation is over. A short story, the dream that changed everything. David had known Emily for a while. They talked often, laughed over coffee, and exchanged the kind of easy conversation that made time fly. But something shifted one morning when he casually said, "I had the weirdest dream last night. We were on a road trip, just driving with no destination, listening to music and laughing the whole way." Emily's eyes lit up. "Really? That sounds amazing. Do you remember where we were going?" David shook his head with a smile. "No clue, but I woke up feeling good, like it was the kind of trip that just made sense." For the rest of the day, Emily couldn't stop thinking about it. It wasn't just the dream. It was the idea that David had been thinking about her, even unconsciously. That simple moment made her look at him in a completely new way. And that's the power of dreams. Number 1, the magic of touch before intimacy. It was a chilly autumn evening when Daniel and Sophie walked along the quiet streets of the city, the golden glow of streetlights flickering on the wet pavement. The air was crisp, and the world around them felt still, as if it were holding its breath. They weren't rushing anywhere, just walking, talking, and enjoying the moment. Sophie pulled her coat tighter around her, and without thinking, Daniel reached out, placing his hand lightly on the small of her back. It wasn't forceful, it wasn't calculated, it was natural. A simple touch, warm and reassuring, one that said, "I'm here, you're safe." She noticed it immediately. It wasn't the kind of touch that demanded anything. It was one that offered something: comfort, presence, connection. She didn't pull away. In fact, she leaned into it, just slightly, enough for Daniel to feel her subtle response. They continued walking in silence for a few moments before she glanced up at him with a soft smile. "You always do that," she said. Daniel raised an eyebrow. "Do what?" She hesitated, then shrugged. I don't know, the way you touch me. It's never rushed, never too much. It's like you're just letting me feel that you're there." He smiled. "Is that a bad thing?" "No," she said quickly, shaking her head. "Not at all. It's different. It's nice." That was the thing about touch. It wasn't just about contact, it was about communication. Long before intimacy ever entered the picture, touch had the power to build anticipation, to create trust, to let someone know they were seen, valued, and protected. Too many men thought touch was only meaningful in obvious moments, holding hands, hugging, kissing. But the true magic happened in the small, unnoticed touches, the brush of fingers when handing her something, the way a hand lingers just a second longer on her arm, the light pressure of a hand guiding her through a doorway. Daniel had always understood that. He never rushed anything, never made a move just for the sake of it. Instead, he let touch build a foundation of trust, creating a space where Sophie never felt pressured, only drawn closer to him in ways she couldn't quite explain. As they reached her apartment door, she turned to face him. There was no need for words. The way she looked at him, the way she lingered before saying goodnight, it all spoke volumes. Touch had already done what words couldn't. And when she finally reached for his hand, intertwining her fingers with his for just a moment longer than necessary, Daniel knew. The magic of touch had already paved the way for everything that would come next. Number 2, flirting the right way. The coffee shop was buzzing with quiet conversations, the scent of freshly brewed espresso filling the air. James sat at his usual spot by the window, flipping through a book, when he noticed her. Emma. She was waiting for her order, absent-mindedly scrolling through her phone, her wavy brown hair falling over one shoulder. They had exchanged glances before, quick, fleeting moments that hinted at something unspoken. But today, James decided to take it a step further. As she reached for her coffee, the barista nearly knocked the cup over, and in one smooth motion, James reached out, steadying it before disaster struck. "Looks like I just saved your morning," he said, a playful smirk on his lips. Emma looked up, surprised, then laughed. "I owe you one, huh?" He shrugged. "I won't hold it against you, for now." Flirting was an art, one that most people either overcomplicated or completely misunderstood. It wasn't about cheesy pickup lines or over-the-top compliments. It was about energy, timing, and playfulness. It was about making her smile without trying too hard, showing confidence without arrogance, and creating a moment that felt effortless. James didn't bombard Emma with forced conversation. Instead, he let the silence settle just long enough to make her curious. Then, with a teasing glance at her coffee, he said, "Let me guess. Extra shot of espresso. No sugar?" She raised an eyebrow. "Lucky guess." "Not luck," he replied. "You seem like someone who needs that little extra kick in the morning, but doesn't rely on sweetness to get through the day," Emma chuckled. "Are you a coffee psychic or just really good at guessing?" "Neither," James said, leaning in slightly. "Just observant." That was the secret. Flirting wasn't about proving anything. It was about noticing. The way she twirled a strand of hair when she was thinking. The slight smirk when she was amused. The way her eyes lingered for just a second longer when she was intrigued. And James noticed. As Emma grabbed her coffee, she hesitated. Then with a small smile, she took a pen from her bag, scribbled something on a napkin, and slid it toward him before walking out the door. James unfolded it, grinning at the numbers written across the paper. Flirting done right wasn't about chasing, it was about creating a connection that made her want to take the next step herself. Number 3, the magic of touching her hair. It was their third date, and the air between them crackled with an unspoken electricity. Daniel and Sophia sat across from each other at a quiet rooftop lounge, the city lights flickering in the distance. Their conversation flowed effortlessly, playful teases mixed with deeper revelations about life, dreams, and the kind of moments that made them feel alive. Sophia absent-mindedly tucked a strand of hair behind her ear as she laughed at one of Daniel's remarks. He watched the movement, the way her hair shimmered under the warm glow of the lanterns, and he felt the pull, the subtle, intimate way a woman's hair could hold an entire conversation on its own. As the night deepened, the wind picked up slightly, carrying the cool air across the rooftop. Sophia's hair blew across her face, and instinctively, Daniel reached out, slow, deliberate. He brushed the loose strands behind her ear, his fingers grazing her cheek ever so lightly. Sophia's laughter faded for a second, replaced by something else, a softness in her gaze, a slight intake of breath. The world around them seemed to pause, and in that moment it wasn't about the touch itself. It was about what it said without words. It told her, "I see you. I'm present with you. I'm not just hearing what you say, I'm feeling who you are." Daniel didn't follow it up with some grand move. He didn't rush to close the space between them. He let the moment settle, let her feel the warmth of the small, intentional touch. And then, just as effortlessly, he pulled back, continuing the conversation as if nothing had happened. But something had. Sophia twirled a lock of hair between her fingers, stealing glances at him with new curiosity. The dynamic between them had shifted, not in an obvious way, but in a way that she felt deep in her core. That's the magic of touching her hair. It's not about ownership. It's not about control. It's about a subtle, tender moment that builds attraction without a single word. When done right, it lingers, long after the touch is gone. Number 4, the hand on her back in public. It was a chilly autumn evening when James and Olivia stepped into the crowded restaurant. The city buzzed with life, and the air carried the scent of roasted coffee and rain-soaked pavement. As they walked toward their table, James instinctively placed his hand lightly on the small of Olivia's back, guiding her through the maze of people. It was a simple gesture, subtle, effortless, but Olivia felt it immediately. It wasn't about control, it was about presence, about protection, about the quiet, unspoken message that he was there, steady and aware, moving with her, not ahead of her. And in that moment, she felt it, safe, feminine, desired. She glanced up at him, a soft smile playing at her lips. She liked the way his touch felt, not demanding, not possessive, but grounding. It wasn't a flashy move, nothing exaggerated or overly dominant, just enough to let her know he was attuned to her, looking out for her in a way that didn't need words. Throughout the evening, James continued these effortless touches, a slight press of his hand against her back as they weaved through the crowd, a lingering touch on her waist as he pulled out her chair, a casual yet deliberate moment of physical connection that reminded her he was there. And that's the power of the hand on her back in public. It's not about showing off. It's not about ownership. It's about a man who leads with quiet confidence, making her feel both protected and wanted. Because sometimes the smallest gestures speak the loudest. Number 5, be her hero, the protector. It was late at night when Ethan and Sophia left the small cafe tucked away on the quiet side of town. The city had an eerie stillness, the streets dimly lit by flickering streetlights. As they walked toward her car, a group of loud, rowdy strangers stumbled out of a bar across the street. Instinctively, Ethan stepped slightly in front of Sophia, positioning himself between her and the potential chaos, his posture relaxed yet unmistakably firm. He didn't puff his chest or act aggressively. He didn't need to. His presence alone was enough. Sophia felt it instantly, that unspoken reassurance. He didn't have to say a word. He was simply there, not to control her, not to act like she was weak, but to be her shield in the world. She wasn't afraid because she knew Ethan had her back. The protector instinct, more than just strength. Despite what many think, being a protector isn't about being a knight in shining armor or rushing in to save the day like an action hero. Women don't need rescuing. They're strong, independent, and fully capable of handling themselves. But here's the truth. Deep down, they still want to feel protected. It's not about physical strength alone. It's about presence, awareness, and emotional stability. It's about being the kind of man who makes her feel safe, not just from physical threats, but from emotional storms, daily stress, and life's uncertainties. She wants to know that when things get tough, you won't run. That if she's upset, you'll be steady. That when life throws challenges at her, she doesn't have to face them alone. Little things that make a big impact. A man who understands the power of protection doesn't need grand gestures. He shows it in the little things. Standing by her side when she feels uncomfortable in social situations, holding her hand or guiding her gently through a crowded place, defending her subtly, not by starting fights, but by showing unwavering support, being emotionally steady when she's stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed, anticipating her needs, offering her your jacket when she's cold, walking her to her car at night, or making sure she gets home safely. It's about showing up, not just when it's easy, but when it matters. The primal attraction of protection. There's a reason why women are naturally drawn to men who exude a protective energy. It taps into something primal, an instinct buried deep within human nature. When a woman feels protected, she feels more comfortable leaning into her femininity. She doesn't have to be constantly on guard. She can relax, be herself, and trust the man she's with. And that trust, that's what builds real attraction. Not flashy moves, not empty words, but consistent actions that show her you are someone she can count on. The true meaning of being a protector. Being a protector isn't about dominance. It's about responsibility. It's not about overpowering her. It's about empowering her by creating a space where she feels secure, valued, and understood. And when you do that, she won't just notice it, she'll feel it. and she'll never forget the man who made her feel that way. Number 6, the power of dreams. Late at night, as the city lights shimmered outside the window, Daniel and Emma sat curled up on the couch. The world around them faded as they talked, not about the mundane details of the day, but about something deeper. "I always wanted to travel the world," Emma admitted, her voice soft but filled with longing. "To wake up in different cities, to experience different cultures. But life just kept getting in the way." Daniel looked at her, a small smile playing on his lips. "Then why not start now? Even if it's small, one step at a time." Emma glanced at him, surprised. Most people just nodded when she talked about her dreams. But Daniel, he actually believed in them. And in that moment, something shifted between them. Why dreams matter in attraction. There's an undeniable magic when two people connect over dreams. It's not just about attraction. It's about inspiration, about seeing each other not just as they are, but as they could be. A man who dreams and encourages hers is rare. It shows depth, ambition, and vision. Women are drawn to men who have direction, who wake up every day chasing something bigger than themselves. And when that man also takes her dreams seriously, that's where real emotional connection forms. The key to unlocking deep connection. Most men focus on the surface, looks, charm, or clever lines. But the secret to truly standing out is this: help her believe in her dreams again. Ask her, what excites you? What's something you've always wanted to do? What's stopping you? And then, truly listen, not to impress her, not to agree blindly, but to show her that her dreams matter. Be the man who inspires. When you embrace your own dreams and encourage hers, you become more than just someone she dates. You become someone unforgettable. You become the person who sees her for more than just the present moment, but for the limitless potential she carries. And that's the kind of man a woman never forgets. Number 7, the charm of a beard. It started with a glance. Sarah was sipping her coffee at a small cafe when her eyes landed on a man across the room. He wasn't doing anything extraordinary, just reading a book, occasionally running his hand through his well-groomed beard. And yet, there was something about him, something rugged, something undeniably masculine. She had dated clean-shaven guys before, some charming, some forgettable. But there was something about a man with a beard that stirred something deeper. It wasn't just about looks. It was about the energy he carried, the quiet confidence that came with it. Why beards are so attractive. A well-maintained beard is more than just facial hair. It's a statement. It signals maturity, strength, and a primal kind of masculinity that's deeply embedded in human psychology. Throughout history, beards have been associated with wisdom, leadership, and dominance. From ancient warriors to modern philosophers, men who let their beards grow carried an air of authority. Studies even suggest that women often perceive men with beards as more protective, reliable, and capable. But here's the catch. It's not just about having a beard. It's about owning it. A messy, unkempt beard doesn't project power. It looks careless. A well-maintained beard, however, speaks volumes about a man's self-discipline and ability to take care of himself. The beard is a symbol of confidence. A beard isn't a shortcut to masculinity. If you grow it without carrying yourself with confidence, it's just hair. The real attraction comes from how you wear it. A man with a beard stands out, not because of the beard itself, but because of what it represents. Self-mastery. He takes care of himself. He doesn't need validation, strength, and maturity. He embraces his natural masculinity. Mystery and depth. He has a presence that makes people curious. How to make your beard work for you. 1. Keep it groomed. A beard that's shaped and maintained signals attention to detail. 2. Match it with your personality. A beard should enhance your look, not overpower it. 3. Wear it with confidence. The beard alone isn't attractive. The man behind it is. It's not about the beard, it's about you. A beard doesn't make you attractive. It's just an extension of your personality. What truly draws people in is the way you carry yourself. If you wear it with confidence, it becomes a symbol of your strength, independence, and self-mastery. So if you choose to grow a beard, don't just have one, own it. Because in the end, attraction isn't about the beard itself, it's about the man behind it.